Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello, and welcome to Helping Hands. This is our opportunity to let you in the community know how you can lend a helping hand to an agency or a program in need. I'm Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels.
And I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to the July edition of Helping Hands. We're all decked out here in our red, white, and blue, thanks to Harnix for the floral decor, and also thanks to our sponsor, our monetary sponsor, Aurora Healthcare, for helping us put on this program that we are actually in our 13th year of doing. Some people told us it would not last, and it has. Thank you to our audience. Where can you hear us and where can you see us? We're on Oshkosh Media. You can listen to us on the radio at 101.9 FM or watch us on Life TV. We're so glad that you're here with us. We have special guests today that I'm really interested in learning more about. Judy, would you like to introduce them?
I would. Actually, as a very good neighbor, we're agency next to one another.
That's right.
In the Hooper Community Building. Tracy Robertson, who is the executive director of Fit Oshkosh. And that sounds like a fitness program, and we've got to get in shape. We need to get in shape, but it's not the physical, correct?
That's correct. So our work is around creating the beloved community, creating a space here in the county where everyone, no matter what their nationality is, sexual orientation is, spiritual preferences are, can fit. And so we focus on race and helping our community to understand that, because it's an economic sustainability issue. If we want to attract and retain young people of all demographics, it's really important that we do this work and understand how to do that successfully. So.
And we're talking about young people, so there's a young person sitting next to you. This is Jake White, and you are a volunteer?
Yes, that's
Fit?
correct. Ever since I heard about Fit, I was just eager to get involved and see what they need that I can help with.
So my first question is, how did you hear about Fit?
Fit, I think it actually was Tracy reached out to me about a group that she was putting together, just a group of passionate people that were doing things in the community. And she reached out to me and said, hey, you're like someone like me, and we need to encourage each other and find a way to connect. So when we met, and I heard about her initiative through that, it was just instant. So personal connection, yeah. She reached out to me, and it was a good fit.
And we find that out a lot. Sometimes people just need to be asked. They're waiting to be asked. Maybe they're too shy or they don't really know much about it. But ask someone, and you got someone.
Absolutely, I've got someone great. So we're really pleased to have
When did this start? When did the whole idea of Fit start?
So we've actually been doing work in the community for the past 4 years. We started out doing it as just really interested community members. We started out having what we call our Color Brave community conversations. And what that is we would get a bunch of people in the community together at a venue. Typically it was a church in the Oshkosh area, to look at a clip or video that addressed the issue of race. And then we would watch that clip or video and have some facilitated discussion around it. And the conversations took off. People were really excited about it. We were seeing on average about 40 or 50 people a month.
Wow.
And the university gave us an award for that work. And at about year 3, we decided, well, we really need to do something else, because at this point, we're kind of preaching to the choir. The people that are coming to our events are people who really understand the value of this conversation and have already started to do this work. So how do we engage people who aren't at the table? People like the police department, people like local government. And so we decided to form a 501c3. We did that in my living room in July of 2014, and
Good
here
for
we are.
you.
So yeah.
Wow.
And along with that, it always begs the question, nonprofits, where does the money come from?
Sure, that's a great question. So most of the programming and training that we do is free to the community. And so certainly those programs are funded by donors. We have people who really believe in our mission, and they donate to us on a monthly basis. We also have training that we deliver to places like the school district, the police department, the human services department of the county, and those organizations pay us to come in and do that training.
So we know that you're located in the Hooper building.
We are.
Where United Way is and Oshkosh Family is. How big is your staff?
Our staff consists of me.
Welcome to our world. Is that not amazing? And what one energetic person can do.
Well, and I have a really fantastic board of 7 that really help me and get their feet wet and dig in and do everything from, dust counters to do marketing. And then I have great volunteers like Jake who pitch in and really help to move our mission forward. So I don't do it alone, but I can't
Jake,
take any credit.
what do you do for FIT?
So far, just helping where I can help with my business expertise, brainstorming and helping Tracy out with just that mission and getting young people engaged. But mostly I just like to volunteer my time in the Color Brave community reads. So whether it's welcoming people with a smile when they come in and helping lead discussion, I just basically ask, what do you need today if I have some time, or what's the next event and how can I fit in? But I'm excited to when our schedules work, to get trained as a facilitator where I can help facilitate discussions around race. Because it is something that's important and that I need to know more than I do now to help do that effectively. So becoming that type of volunteer as well.
Okay.
Well, and Tracy, I keep hearing the door opening and closing over by you. I see the sign on the door. Being a one-person staff, you're not always in the office to answer the phone.
That's right.
So people need to leave messages. And how do they actually contact you?
So if you call our office and I'm not there, those messages are forwarded to my cell phone. So they can call our office and get me directly. I am always available. People can just call our office and they'll more times than not get me, unless I'm facilitating training, and then I can certainly return those phone calls quickly.
And that phone number is?
So our office phone number is 773, no it's not, 312-479, I'm gonna botch it because I never call it. 5380. That's it.
We do that all the time.
Good.
It's
Good.
like, what is
We
our
don't
number?
we
Yeah.
don't call
I don't
our own
call
numbers.
I know.
I don't call my number.
I
That's
know.
our office number.
People will ask what your cell phone number is. I don't know. I don't call it. You know,
I actually do know my cell phone number, but I don't know our office number, which is
so
sad,
so
but true.
you will answer the phone all of the time.
I
then.
typically answer the phone all of the time.
Amazing.
We do. We are starting a lending library. We want to be a resource to people. Oftentimes, when people will do our training, they'll say, "I want to know more. I need more resources, more videos, more books." So we are creating a lending library where people can come into our office and either borrow resources from us, like you would from a library, or come into our office and read.
Okay.
So we are looking for a volunteer who would be the person who welcomes people into our cozy corner to read some of our literature. So that's a way that someone could volunteer.
Okay.
And when you get volunteers, what is the application process to be with you?
Sure. So of course, our volunteers can come from any backgrounds, any age. We typically do kind of an intake, have a conversation with them about our mission, make sure they fully understand that mission and what's important about it. And then we do a facilitation, we do a volunteer training where we talk more extensively about our organization, why our work matters, how they can get involved, what that involvement looks like, and then you're off and running.
Do you do the background checks like we have to do?
We have not historically done background checks on our volunteers. It really has been kind of a relational sort of thing.
Okay.
No.
Especially because I would think that you're finding people who are very passionate about your cause, and what they're doing when you have those conversations with people, you kind of can get a read on them also, which we also do. It's just
We do too, but we still need to kind of do that extra step because
of the health care and,
Sure.
and
the
all of that.
vulnerability of the individuals we work with.
Sure. Most of our volunteers, too, are not coming into our office very often. For example, when Jake is the greeter at our community conversations, he's meeting us at the venue. He's at that desk kind of welcoming people in. So we don't have a lot of high risk or a lot of, people.
Dealing with clients
Yeah,
and other things like that.
exactly. So we have not implemented a background policy, background check policy, but it's certainly something we might need to consider.
So tell me about the community conversations, because this is, I'm always amazed when there's something that I haven't heard about.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about the community conversations.
Yep.
How often do they happen? Where is the venue? Things like that.
Fantastic. So the community conversations, the Color Brave community conversations, take place once a month from September through May. They typically happen at a house of faith here in the Oshkosh community. One of our most frequent hosts is All Saints Church on West 21, where Pastor Kim Krogstad is the pastor. And so last month, for example, we watched a documentary called When the Bow Breaks. and it's about premature births and how premature births in people of color and women of color have been tied to racial stress. So it doesn't matter. You could take a woman of color. This woman happened to be an attorney, and she was an attorney, and they were comparing her health experience, her pregnancy, with a young white woman who didn't even graduate from high school. And the black woman, in this particular case, the subject was a black woman who was an attorney, a lawyer, very high profile lawyer. Her outcomes were not as good as the white teenage mom. And they were attributing that to racial stress and how stress is a huge determinant to health and health outcomes. So.
And that's something that we don't necessarily take into account because we look at the economic status, educational status compared to each other, and you would expect the exact reverse.
That's exactly right. Typically, when people look at disparities in healthcare, they look at things like socioeconomics, education, familiar status, whether the couple is married, those kinds of things. But the American Public Health Association and a lot of the healthcare industry is really beginning to recognize that race plays a factor in some of those health outcomes. So you'll see a lot of really renowned doctors and organizations like the APHA taking a deeper dive into the impacts of being a person of color in this country and how that shows up in your health experiences.
So you're a small not-for-profit,
We
so
are.
it means budgets are nothing,
Yes.
to get volunteers or do your marketing or communication. So where do you advertise?
So our Facebook page is extremely popular. We do a lot of our marketing there around what programs are coming up.
Okay.
We do a lot of educational, a lot of teaching there, so lots of videos, clips, articles that people can use to explore. We've certainly done some press releases and gotten
Okay.
a lot of media coverage around a lot of the programming we're doing. The Color Brave Community Read that we're doing right now has gotten a lot of both national and local press.
So if they go on Facebook, they just put Fit Oshkosh.
Yes,
Okay.
they will
I'll have
find
to-
us.
And it's easy to
I'll
find.
have to friend them and like them. Okay.
Please do.
All right.
Yeah.
Even though my kids do not like me being on Facebook because it's not cool that,
Yes.
that you can spy on your kids while,
Yes.
while you're on Facebook.
My
but-
kids have said that I have ruined Facebook. Yeah.
But you also do a blog, don't you?
I do have a blog on our website, which is currently being redeveloped by a couple of volunteers. And so I do some blogging there and talk a lot about this work, my own experiences through this work. We also have a lot of guest bloggers. Last month we had the chancellor at UWO, Andy Levitt, did a guest blog for us, as well as Pastor Jan Vieseth, who's a pastor here locally. So we do invite other people to be a part of this conversation and this really important work that we're doing in the community and share their thoughts about it.
So pardon the pun, but you'd be a great fit for AVA, which is the Alliance of Volunteer Agency Group, which we have.
Okay.
Which we bring people into the group. Anyone who manages volunteers in a not-for-profit setting. So Hospital Boys and Girls Club, the Girl Scouts, Habitat for Humanity, EAA. We all gather once a month and we network, we fellowship, we have food. And it really is a fun time. And I think they like to learn what's going on. And also in that group, we learn little secrets on where you can get free this and where you can advertise this.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And who does
and,
that?
And a good partner for our group is actually For Imprint.
Oh,
because
sure.
they're one-on-one giving back to the community and a few of the other groups in the community. And Bemis Company with their employees doing volunteering for the nonprofits. For every hour that they volunteer for the nonprofit, that nonprofit gets $10.
Wow.
So there's a lot of good resources, and I know our audience is thinking, aren't they going to break? But we are going to hold off our break for a little while because we have so much to talk about here. So we're going to stay on for a couple more minutes because we all need to share resources, especially when someone is new. When I came back to this community just to find out where you can get the free advertising from, which organizations will have programs for their employees, where you can get grant money from that you didn't know about before. And we really are a great group that does like to share. We even share our volunteers. We have volunteers that go back
They go
and forth.
from one to the other, and I don't call this one on such and such day because they're volunteering for John or they're volunteering for Amy.
And we're really excited because at our meeting that we had, we are EAA is trying to put together a community resource fair.
Okay.
And they don't have a date or time picked yet, but it will be at EAA, and it will be a chance for all the organizations to come together and invite the community in, and we're hoping it will be in the evening.
Okay.
Because it's hard to do something during the day when people do work and that. So to have some big community resource fair in the evening where people can come in and learn about different agencies that maybe they don't know anything about.
Yeah, sure. Jake and I are part of what we're calling a new nonprofit group. There are 4 of us that get together once a month. We're all brand new nonprofits, less than 5 years old. And we do exactly that. We share some resources. We talk about where you need assistance.
Oh my gosh.
How can I help you? What's your agency up to? So that we can be that little support for each other. So, and that's been really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like we need to go over there
It does.
too.
It
Yeah.
does.
Immerse
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because sometimes it's hard for people to find each other.
Yeah.
And we do notice that a lot of the newer people in the volunteer world are graduates out of the university, and this is their first job, and
First
they
job,
need, they
new to
need
the
those
community.
resources
Sure.
and all of that
And
stuff.
their idea of networking is the social network. And we're of old school of the face-to-face network and on the other end of the phone. And we need to meld
Together,
those
we learned from them about blogging, which I'm still not, and tweeting and all of that, and then they learned from us of some of the other things that
You know,
we
I
can
just
do.
did my first tweet last week.
Really?
Tweeted for the first time. I felt so accomplished.
Oh my gosh, I just don't understand it. My kids try to explain it to me, and I know it's good and all that. But Facebook, I really do use Facebook at Aurora. What the stuff I put out there, people respond to it, and you can talk about your events. You
Yep.
can talk about what's going on, and I really like to talk about the youth in our community because our community needs to talk more about the good that our youth are doing than all of the other things. So the sharing of the stories is really wonderful.
Yeah.
And the Northwestern is very good too. Of you submit articles of what's going on.
Yep.
They're putting more emphasis back to the community, as opposed to for a few years that was sort of lacking. And reader submitted articles are in frequently.
So if you both had one last thing to say, anything you wanted to say to our audience about your group or about volunteering, what would you say?
I'd say come and join Fit Oshkosh. The work that we're really doing is important. It doesn't matter what your background is. The work that we do impacts everyone, and we'd love to have you. But now we're going to have to do a background check, thanks to Judy.
That depends on the volunteers you have and where you're using them, but yes.
And again, they can find you on Facebook at Fit
Definitely.
Oshkosh?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. And Jake?
I think if you don't have the money to help, giving your time is the next best option. So you can tell a person's value by their calendar and their checkbook. So if you say you're passionate and you want to make a change, then it's great to partner with someone like Tracy and Fit Oshkosh and actually make a difference. And it feels great. It feels great, and you know that you have a place in the community and you're making a difference. So I just be encouraging to everyone.
And I would just guess that you've been volunteering since high school.
Before
no.
high school.
Really?
I was
No.
not involved. I was kind of not that person in high school.
Oh.
Really developed in college and got involved and
Wow.
found that I had a purpose.
And you
He-
see now that Lourdes has a program, because we get a lot of Lourdes students where they have a program where they're allowed to leave a class and come out and volunteer at an agency to learn more about the community. And I think that's a structured program that they have that is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
How did he escape Kathy Jeffers all those years?
Yes.
Oh, I had her.
Did you?
Yeah.
She was Miss Push volunteer. She was wonderful at Lourdes. We got a lot of my good volunteers came
Right.
through her. So
Yeah.
Lourdes does good stuff in our community. So
Thank you for being
thank
with
you
us.
both
Thank you
for
for
being with
having
us.
us.
We
We
appreciate
appreciate it.
that. Stay tuned, and we'll be back for our second segment of our July edition of Helping Hands.
If you have expired or unused medication, don't flush it, pour it down the drain, or toss it in the trash. Safely dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box located inside the Oshkosh Police Department. It's convenient and anonymous, safe and secure, and it's open to everyone 24/7. Drop off your prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, pet meds, and more. Keep drugs out of the reach of children and out of our water supply. Dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box. For more information, visit the Oshkosh Police Department website at oshkoshpd.com.
Wisconsin is losing our World War II veterans. If you were a World War II veteran, or you know one who hasn't gone on an honor flight to D.C., please help us. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is partnering with all Wisconsin Honor Flight hubs to make sure every eligible vet remaining who served their country so selflessly gets the chance to go. It's time for them to see their memorial. It's time for their flight. To learn more or to make a donation, go to wisconsinhonorflight.org.
Hi there, and welcome back to our second edition of Helping Hands for July. I just cannot believe the enthusiasm of our first guests. You can always tell when someone is passionate about something, not by only by what they say, but their eyes. Their eyes. Both of them were just passionate about what they do, and I'm anxious to learn more about both of their programs.
Well, as I said, Tracy's office is next door to ours, and I got a chance to talk to her a couple of times, and that energy and enthusiasm is definitely there, and without that, it just wouldn't be the organization it is.
Right, and then having the volunteer Jake, who's young but very energetic about and passionate about what he does. He'll be a great future guest for. We'll let the audience know he'll be a future guest about the program that he is involved with besides Fit Oshkosh. So we're very happy that you're back with us. It's the wonderful month of July. It's when people take vacations. But we never take vacations from volunteering, even though you're allowed to as a volunteer. People who are passionate about volunteering give of their time and of their energy to things that they like. So we're here to talk about that.
We are, and when we talk July, we all know EAA, AirVenture, and the number of volunteers, the number of visitors that they bring to Oshkosh. But with those visitors, how many are volunteers from across the world that actually volunteer out at EAA on the grounds and surrounding the grounds?
That was always amazing when I worked at EAA. The people who volunteer and give of their time start coming in April. So as you're going down 41, you'll all start seeing campers and tents out there in April and May because they're there doing the grounds, doing all of that prep work for that 1 week of AirVenture. So we really want to give a shout out to all those wonderful volunteers that come in from all over the world to make Oshkosh the event city that it is.
It is. And along with all the volunteers that come to EAA, what's nice is that a lot of the staff of EAA volunteer in our community. They volunteer for me. There's some that volunteer for you. They're involved out in a lot of different places in the community.
And I'm proud to say that when I was at EAA, we worked together with you and we started the program to get the drivers for Meals on Wheels, and it's still going.
It is still going.
It's still going today after 13 years. It's still going, so that's wonderful. And it's a great experience to go into someone's home and deliver a meal and to see their smile or to listen to them or talk to them or bring them a gift that someone has made for them. It just warms your heart. It makes it all worthwhile.
Sure. Another project, and again, kids don't like to hear school, but there is a community program. It's actually through the County Homemakers Organization, and Chris Kneep out at the Extension Office helps to oversee it. It's called Bookworms, and the Homemakers Group provide books to the kids in the Head Start, and they go in and they read to the group. And as the ladies in Homemakers are sort of aging out, it's important to find some volunteers in the community that are willing to come out and, again, sit and read with these young children for a short period of time on a regular basis. And it's very rewarding.
And you'd be surprised. I mean, we can think back, even though it's been a long time ago when we were infants, we can think back to the stories. We remember the stories that were read to us and the books, and Curious George for one. I mean, I still remember that. I have a special place for that. So reading to someone is not only beneficial for the person you're reading to, but it's beneficial for yourself. It keeps your mind clear and active, and it's a great experience to do.
And along with that, reading to people, I have a neighbor in my building who goes to one of the nursing homes, and he reads to the elders who are in the nursing home because he enjoys it, and they enjoy having him come.
And I would say, too, check out your local library, because I know that the libraries also have a book program where they will deliver books.
The home
delivery, which a lot of people do not know about. We didn't know about until we checked into it for our mother-in-law, who loves to read, and we were going to Goodwill and St. Vinny's just buying books and then donating them back. And now to have the library there delivering what she wants to her home, it's a great thing for anybody who's homebound.
One of my volunteers is a volunteer with that program, or at the library. And she noticed our gentleman with the poor vision and asked if he knew about it. And no, he didn't. So she explained, and from there he's applied, and she's willing to pick the books and take them out to him. And those connections are so important, and it's helping to reduce isolation.
Right, which is a big epidemic in our community of people feeling isolated because either they can't drive, or they don't feel they have any value, or they're stuck in their home. And we're trying to be inclusive for everyone in our community by all the programs. And also that's why we do this show, is to bring on agencies that may help someone. They're watching our show and they say, hey, that is of interest to me, or I need that service, or something like that.
Right.
So.
And again, as we're talking volunteers, and we've always been talking, or we have been talking about people who are coming to our facility, to our programs, and volunteering for someone else. But not everybody can get out. But again, need something to do. And your Knitter's Nook, you can have some of the ladies or the gentlemen who will work from home and do something. And it can be sent out. And be it for your Knitter's Nook program, can be for the anti-bullying campaign scarves. We even have the people from Oshkosh Correctional, from some of the other correctional facilities, who are knitting and crocheting and turn out beautiful work that is sent out for the Christmas baskets or other opportunities.
Help for the homeless.
Right.
We also,
Absolutely.
before our July show ends, I would be amiss if I didn't thank all of the schools, the Girl Scouts, the church groups, who make tray favors for Meals on Wheels, for residents at Evergreen and Bethel Home and Oshkosh Care and Aurora. Those cards that you make, whether they're cards or they're flowers or there's something to go on the tray, do mean a lot to the patients and the people who receive them. So thank you very much for thinking of our residents with your talent.
And I can go into a home a month or 2 months or 3 months later and find that item.
See, the
setting out.
people really cherish it. So if you need ideas on what your kids can do this summer, call us. I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center at 456-7013.
And Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels, 651-3316.
Be sure to have a great summer, a safe summer, a relaxing summer, and safe travel to you as you visit family and friends this summer. We wish you a great July, and we'll be back in August.